Infinity Pool is essentially a mesmerizing and seductive nightmare in which Mia Goth plays the hostess to both the highs of the fantasy and the lows of the trauma. To summarize the film, it has been 6 years since James has written his first and only book, which was not only commercial bomb, but also critically panned. Luckily, despite having such a terrible book as his premiere, he married the daughter of his publisher, M, and with him sticking by her side, he has been able to float for the last 6 years without writing a single word or trying to redeem himself. But even though he hasn't put much effort into redemption, that doesn't mean he doesn't perhaps want it. He just claims to have writer's block, and with that, he decides to, on M's dime, head off to a foreign country to perhaps gain some inspiration. There, he meets someone who claims to be a fan named Gabby, and Gabby's the type of person who doesn't know boundaries and is a very blatant flirt. So with that, James's ego gets boosted in ways that M can't provide, and he decides if Gabby wants to invite us somewhere, Gabby wants to hang out, let's go and be with them. But what neither M nor James knows is that Gabby's into some dark and corrupting things, and with that, we find M and also James going through this very dark and twisted journey, which M seems smart enough to recognize and want to get off of, but when it comes to James, the ecstasy is too much for him, and it leaves you to wonder, after all is said and done, will he be changed for the better, the worse, or will he possibly end up in jail or dead? So, the first highlight for us is Mia Goth. As seen in X and also Pearl, Mia Goth has pretty much nailed playing an on-edge psycho down pat. As Gabby, she is someone you can't take your eyes off. She has that femme fatale type vibe. She's someone alluring, dangerous, completely beyond full comprehension. Yet, even with knowing you can't match her energy of madness, you still want more. Goth leaves you barely caring that Gabby is seducing a married man, is in a happy relationship, potentially. For the way she just eats up a scene, and even when, towards the end, when she starts to lose her lust because she's really going off the rails and Kronberg is not drawing her back, she quickly bounces back like it's nothing. And it really makes you think that she might be one of those rare actresses, especially as seen in Pearl, who, even if the script and story isn't the best, she's able to bring something out of it that will make you forget any of the real flaws of the execution, because hers is just immaculate. The second highlight is that if you're familiar with Cronenberg films, whether it's the father or the son in this case, you get the kind of body horror you expect. It's the type of stuff where, also in the form of psychological horror, it starts off small with just having the camera be a little bit too intimate when it comes to close-ups, which makes you uncomfortable. Then changing the way the camera views just to kind of throw you off a little bit before it just starts slowly but surely diving in, almost like it keeps creating a line, daring you to cross it, and when you do, you think it's nothing, until eventually come to a point where you're like, I don't know how far I went, I don't know where I am, and now, until at some point you're like, I'm a little bit creeped out about how far you've taken me. But in terms of an on-offense topic, like any film that deals with horror and, very crazy and eccentric characters, there comes a point where you're going to feel like this is starting to overstay its welcome. For as much as Cronenberg really knows how to build up to peak madness, and Mia Goth is a perfect instrument for him to use in order to get all this out there, after some point it's just like Mia Goth being this very weird character who starts yelling and screaming James in a way that reminds me of Tiana Taylor yelling Byron at Lil Bow Wow in one of Tyler Perry's movies. You just kind of want things to end on a high note and hope that things will speed up and come to a conclusion. Because at a certain point, the fun, the thrill, the scares, you get adjusted to it, and it's no longer something that's really driving you to be able to not take your eyes off the screen. If anything, it becomes a sore sight to start seeing people get ripped open and everything, because you're used to it, and now it just feels like cheap shock value. So, thankfully, towards the end, as I noted before, Goff is able to pull a last minute save to bring you back into the fold, but her quick dose of adding some sugar and honey doesn't take away from you experiencing the film starting to rot. Overall, Infinity Pool knows how to use what is expected of the Coen brand, and through body horror, psychological horror, cerebral moments, and talented actors, really give you the type of performances and visuals that are very much memorable. But like anything dealing with the horror genre, unfortunately it overstays its welcome to the point of leaving you with mixed reactions once all is said and done.